Palantir is under scrutiny from its own shareholders who voted today on a proposal that would force Palantir to address its alleged human rights violations.
After long-standing scrutiny and investigations, something is coming out here that is surprising almost everyone. Let's see what is happening.
Now, what human rights violations am I referring to? Well, if you're curious, all you need to do is listen to the head of the company, Alex Karp, who can't really stop himself from bragging about it.
Your AI and your technology from Palantir kills Palestinians.
Mostly terrorists, that's true.
Me as a front man offending half of America.
I don't think in win-lose. I think in domination.
Almost nothing makes a human happier than taking the lines of cocaine away from these short sellers.
I love the idea.
So now, before we even talk about the cocaine thing, Palantir, you need to understand what actually Palantir does. Palantir and how it began. This began as a defense company helping the US, especially with terrorism. And so it's long-standing work. If you followed my videos before, I've talked about the history of Palantir, that it has been put in place basically as a defense company and working with the military. So basically, Alex Karp is bored about what he says, even when it involves killing people, because that is exactly where he began from. As we see Palantir entering the commercial market, yes, that is because its IP is becoming more useful, but basically we need to know that Palantir is a weapon company, weaponized AI, and Alex Karp is not actually afraid to say that they occasionally kill people. So that's where the scrutiny is coming from.
Getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on analysts who tried to screw us.
Yeah, this whole thing online where people like laud the Nazis. Like, I spent a lot of time talking to Nazis, like real Nazis, and like understanding what made them tick.
What's he?
So Palantir is on the side of investigations, in the side of ICE. Palantir, to me, is still a surveillance company. And in this, we would expect it, of course, to have those investigations in place. And what makes it funny is that it's not a completely bad company. On one side, it is bad. On the other side, it is giving real value. And so being talked about negatively by stocks analysts is something, of course, that is two-way. So let's hear what is being said.
Referring to the Israelis in that last statement? Is that what he was talking about? So that's Alex Karp. He makes me want to vomit every time I hear him speak. But nonetheless, let's get back to the investors who apparently also want to vomit every time they hear this man speak. So this proposal by the investors was actually filed by the Presbyterian Church of the United States and the Sisters of St. Joseph of Peace. Both happen to be investors in Palantir. And if you're wondering, is that possible? Can like religious organizations do that? Yes.
Over the past time of our coverage, we've been always talking about these, I may call them investors, pulling out, and also some completely, even countries like the UK, the scrutiny going on. So it does really show that something is wrong. But as we think about it, we need to remember exactly how did this company come into existence. Because even when something is wrong, the founders, like the name suggests, they know what brought them into existence. And so they could still remain supporting what was their initial goal. Personally, I'll give you my view possibly at the end.
They can. So their efforts were actually also backed by Norway's $2 trillion plus sovereign wealth fund. So money talks. We're not talking about small-time investors. We're talking about big-time investors in Palantir. And so what exactly are these organizations trying to do? What are they trying to uncover? Well, Palantir has racked up a long list, as you can imagine, of alleged human rights abuses over the years. And we'll get into what those human rights abuses are in just a moment. But first, I do want to just quickly clear up a common misconception that I myself had for the longest time about what Palantir.
Now, if there exist human rights abuses, then that is really very bad with such a company. And for sure, the CEO should actually come out and talk about this, and if possible, apologize if truly they were there.
Does exactly, okay? Because there's this misconception that they spy on Americans, but that's actually not what's happening. In fact, our government spies on Americans, collects data, in fact, so much data that our incompetent government is unable to organize it, sift through it. You get the picture. So they have contracted that process out to Palantir. Palantir is the one who has access to that data collected by the government. And the whole reason Palantir is working or has been contracted by our government is because they're the ones who help sift through that data.
So when it comes to this sifting through data, I think this is good on my side. And it is important because the government has data and it could not make sense out of it. And then Palantir comes in and does that way. Whereas this is an issue because of the maybe how misused the data is. But I still have a feeling that for this, really, this is good because that has to be analyzed, whether it is Palantir or any other company. This is good on my side.
That mountain of data on Americans, okay? So it's erasing the friction that the US is experiencing, the government is experiencing with all that surveillance and data they collect, but don't have the capacity to go through themselves. In other words, Palantir is enabling the government to surveil its citizens more efficiently, but Palantir isn't actually doing the surveillance themselves. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's get to the human rights abuses. So in its response to the shareholder proposal, Palantir defended its work with the United States government, saying that they reject the false dichotomy presented by many tech companies that working with the military opposes human rights. To refuse to work with the US military would be a failure to recognize the military's role in defending democratic institutions and rules-based order.
When it comes to this, I can say that, well, Palantir is defending itself, but if you're working with the US military, whatever the US government is doing, since you're part of the military, you're also part of it. And I remember somewhere, maybe if I'll get that as well, maybe I'll share it and we'll see about it. But Palantir seems to be defending itself that it is not directly involved, of which that one somehow doesn't make a lot of sense. Being direct or indirectly involved is still being involved. So I think there's something here that needs to be corrected.
Do we want to pause for laughter? Like, what a joke. Okay, that is a myth. Okay, our country doesn't believe in the rules-based order. If it did, it wouldn't be enabling genocide. It wouldn't be arming Israel to commit atrocities. We don't actually believe in the rules-based order. We only pretend like we do when we want to go after a different foreign country that's doing something we don't like, right? The rules-based order means a lot to the Americans when it comes to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But when it comes to Israel's invasion of southern Lebanon, what rules-based order? What rules-based order? No, it was Hezbollah. It's Hezbollah's fault. Okay, if you had the military of a foreign country occupying Texas right now, are you going to tell me that Texans are just going to stand there and take it? There'd be no resistance at all? All those gun-toting Texans would just allow a foreign actor to invade our country and occupy it? I don't think so. But let me continue with more of what Palantir had to say here. This order, while imperfect, has been foundational to the protection of human rights worldwide. It's still referring to the so-called rules-based order. What a joke. And we assert that by engaging with the defense sector, we are positioned to help promote and support ethically defensible outcomes. You guys want to...
Here also, I have a problem with this, that Palantir, being a defense company, does not make it less responsible for what happens in the defense. Because you giving your tools to be used means that you've given people access, and whatever they use the tools for, you are also responsible for it. And so, whether you're promoting support and ethically defensible outcomes does not rule out the fact that these weapons can be used to kill innocent people. And when these people are killed, you are responsible as well. So I think it is not good for Palantir to really try to avoid, rather it should embrace the mistake and maybe find ways of getting out of it.
Profit off of government contracts funded by American taxpayers. That is what Palantir wants to do. Please, you can leave me with all this BS talk about rules-based order and democracy and how you guys are doing this because you believe in doing the right thing. You guys are making money. That is what you're doing. We all know it, so don't lie to our faces about it. Now, Palantir is making a lot of money off its government contracts. So Palantir's government revenue is expected to grow to $3.8 billion in 2026. And that number increased from just $2.4 billion a year ago.
Now, defense is a lucrative business. And so if you've been following me, you realize that Palantir is a company that is going to keep growing because defense is going to be a lucrative business. And those who follow the Bible, you know that Jesus predicted that rumors and wars are going to increase. So that is what is happening. We are seeing more wars. After this, there is this. So a defense company like Palantir will still benefit from war and will still benefit from defense because, again, if you read the Bible, you know that in the end time, US is going to be a superpower. And so any company attached to that know that it is going to be a lucrative business. So this is for those who read and try to understand what is happening in line with the Bible and the prophecies. So that is something that you may not even need to debate more because Palantir will keep growing is because of it being in defense.
So what are we doing? And in its response to this shareholder proposal, Palantir also defended its work with ICE, because of course they did, which for the record has been a bipartisan collaboration. This is not just something that the Trump administration has done. This is something that both Democrats and Republicans have enabled. Palantir has worked with Immigration and Customs Enforcement since the Obama administration, notably in supporting investigations into transnational criminal organizations engaged in major criminal activity with a nexus to the border, such as...
For now, I'll stop there, but what is my take on Palantir right now? Palantir has the good and the bad. The bad is involving it giving its AIP, its software, to defense being weaponized and being used in ways that may be beyond its reach. Because working with the US military means that they are giving their weapons out, but they probably have no control of how the weapons are being used. But that one doesn't make it less responsible for the actions. The other side is that Palantir is now entering the commercial side, which is really lucrative because it has a very nice software. So it remains with you, the viewer, the investor, to decide based on your morality and your understanding of investing and of the company. See you then. If you like more like this, let me know.